Hey Motley crew, welcome to a motcast. It's been a while. As always, opening up the sacred space, setting the intention. I setting the intention that I'm a clear channel of the highest truth, rooted in love with clarity and in balance and harmony. For the collective today, that as you hear me, see me, and exist in energetic space with me, you may receive healing energy to help you awaken to the truth of your soul, help you embody and align to your soul essence and authenticity. I set the intention that I channel my chi, my higher self, speaks through me to you. And that's it. And I say that which is only of and for the collective's highest good and the highest good of all. He said. All right, y'all. Today I'm going to talk about seeing the world in balance and harmony. Because after this full moon in Libra, which was 2 days ago at this point, I realized that I see the world. I mean, I know I see the world differently. Just in the role and the position I embody as a mystic bridge between realms, this unseen and the seen. I also see it in a specific way in which I don't see evil and good and bad, or light and dark in the same way. I see them all as one. Again, both sides of the same coin. And so, in seeing the world in harmony through the view of balance, it is that both are required for order in this world. That without the rain, you cannot get plants to grow. Without the rain, there is no sunshine. Without the light, how do we know what is dark? Without sadness, how do we appreciate moments of happiness? That these counterbalances exist in order for us to perceive the world in a fuller way. And eventually, these counterbalances aren't needed when everything is able to ascend to a place of oneness and understanding that nature, that everything is interconnected. And I'm connected to you because I have a soul, you have a soul, and we all are in a collective consciousness where our souls are combined, not combined, but all swimming around in the same soup is what I'll say. Yes. And that is the case for everything in this world, because everything has divine. I see it. It was shown to me once that everything in this world has a string of consciousness, a string of the divine that goes upwards into different clouds. And so these clouds are intermingling with one another into it looks sort of like an energetic highway, where there's strings going up and these clouds are connected to that cloud and that cloud is connected to that cloud by this line. And so everything, because everything has spirit, everything has a divine essence. Everything is connected and interconnected in this energetic highway. And that interconnected of all is the oneness that exists. And it's to understand that everything has divinity, everything is of the Creator. And thus, everything, I don't want to use the word perfect. Everything is as it is meant to be. And so in seeing the world in this way, and coming to see the world in this way, I always see the world like this. It was something that I had to unfold into, to be able to see the world in the way that I do now, because of what I went through, because of my apprenticeship as a dibia, because of the awakening of my soul and my own abilities. It's an understanding that everything has a place. I think I mentioned in one of my videos before that when we look at a mosquito, we don't say mosquitoes are evil even though they drink blood. And yet we look at and think of things like spiritual parasites or demons as evil, even though they exist because they're meant to exist and they have a role to play in this world and this society. And I'll talk about that in another video. And so there is a balance between both, and it's be able to see all and understand that all is rooted in divinity, which is love. I know that's hard to really conceptualize, but that is the case. And one way that it plays out in our lives is the way in which we shame different parts of ourselves that don't confine to societal expectations and standards. For example, things like sexuality, or things like expressing sensuality. It's interesting because in the society, when I look out into the world and I see the top like spiritualists or spiritual teachers of our society, they seem very devoid of sensuality, of sexuality. And it's as if we as society has only said being of the light is only that which is good. The light is good, and that is it. And yet the night exists, and yet the stars exist, and yet the void, the space within us, which is dark, exists. It is the womb of creation and creativity. And yet we are all in our human bodies as well. And so I come from a lineage and ancient peoples that knew and understood the value of the dark, the beauty of the dark. And I'm not talking about just shadow. Even though the shadow, there are parts of ourselves that are repressed and hidden away that are also of the light, but we hide them away. I'm talking about the dark aspects, that which is often considered our physical human form, and being able to enjoy being in human and physical form. And I'm a proponent of being able to enjoy our humanly existence while also understanding and knowing that we are also a soul, and that we all have callings to where we are meant to be and who we are meant to embody and align to. And so, and being able to see the world in terms of balance and harmony, it's not saying like, oh, to be spiritual means that I have to be a prude, or I can't do certain things. Like, I am a very spiritual human being, and I also really, really am a very sensual human being, and I enjoy using my senses. I enjoy eating great food. I enjoy experiencing comfort. I enjoy experiencing the best that this life has to offer me. I enjoy luxury. I enjoy being able to experience the abundance of this earth, because this earth is divine too. This earth is divine, and being able to experience the abundance that the earth provides. Ana, just the word of this primordial verse of land, and Igbo, to experience the abundance that this land provides us is part of experiencing divinity for me. And so when I see spiritual, I don't see it as something that is outside or something I have to ascend to. I see it as something that I need to embody, something that is meant to be lived in my body as a human being, and not necessarily to go elsewhere other than be here and experience the fullness of this life right here, right now, in the way that my soul has agreed for me to. And the blueprint, and learning to follow that. Another example is like the way that I dress sometimes. Like this, this is looking very light. There's also a very, very real part of me that likes things like chokers and fishnets and leather and buckles and straps, and very much in my divine dark energy. It's a very dark, black, and all of that. And growing up, I felt like I had to choose between which parts came up and showed through, and I realized I can be both. As a multi-dimensional and faceted person, faceted is being okay with having many sides, knowing that my soul is limitless, knowing that If my soul is of the divine and the divine is infinite, then there's infinite ways in which I can relate to, infinite ways in which I can seek to express myself, and all of those ways are valid, even if they are seemingly contradictory on the outside. Because at the end of the day, the soul is light, it is love, it is peace, it is harmony. And when we come back to that, the fullest expression doesn't have to look a particular way or make sense. It just has to be true. And so learning for myself what it meant to see the world in harmony and balance was coming back to myself and saying, what would it look like for me to be balanced within myself? To balance not only my mind and my body and my emotions and my soul, but be in balance to healthy expression in all that I am. My light and my dark, my masculine and my feminine, my adult and my child, my human and my soul, my spirituality and my science. And not feeling like I had to choose, because we in a society says if you're that, you can't be this. If you are scientific, you can't be spiritual, because they can't coexist, when it really was only like 100 years ago that they were separated. We across our society as humans, we come from peoples where they were always one and the same. They just explained different aspects of our existence. One explained the real tangible reality, and one explained the untangible, unseen reality. And then there are ways in which the unseen explained the seen, and the seen explained the unseen, and they were one. And so not feeling I had to choose these parts of me, because in having to choose one part, I was ignoring and repressing another. I was self-denying a part of me, and I couldn't come into wholeness unless I allowed myself to say, I am that and that. Even if it doesn't make sense, because it only needs to be true. Only needs to be true and feel true. And so coming from a place of balance and not feeling like I have to choose, I just have to be, and allow the being to unfold in a way that is natural, in a way that the unfolding is always going to seek harmony. We exist in a place, in a society, in a world, in a universe that is always seeking to be in harmony. That is the nature of our world. It is a spiritual law. Man, the Igbos call it udodi. It means that no matter what happens, no matter how shitty things may be, peace will prevail. Peace will prevail, because peace, harmony, is our natural state. And when things are out of harmony, they always find a way to be back in harmony. And so I had to realize that for myself from within, that despite all of the trauma and the violence and the loss and the grief and the pain that I went through, my soul was seeking a way to find harmony. And that was for my soul to be embodied. And in order for that to be embodied, I had to really do the work of uncovering all the layers of not true and not self. And I say this a lot. It's more of like, instead of fixing the soul, it's more of releasing and uncovering any layers that aren't true. And that is what the spiritual awakening process is in part for, to awaken to the soul and to the truth that exists within. And so experiencing and seeing the world in harmony and balance is really allowing ourselves to be in our natural state, allowing ourselves to move with our natural rhythm and flow of life, a rhythm and cycle that is unique to us. We see it in nature. Again, in my video, Microcosm and the Macrocosm, talk about how I talk about this, but we see it in nature because it exists within us. We see it in the stars because it exists within us. That we seek to move in accordance to our natural flow, and that is when we are able to be in harmony, when that flow is interrupted. And the expression of that, it's unique, right? It's unique to you, it's unique to me, and that's the beauty of this thing called humanity. Is that uniqueness is the beauty and the expression of the soul. It's the beauty and expression of being in the human bodies that look and are shaped and move and exist in different ways. It's the diversity, the spice of life. And so being able to see the world in harmony is being also to appreciate within me that which is in another, and be able to see the unique beauty that exists in everything. As I mentioned, we are all connected and interconnected. It's why I as a soul can read a collective consciousness, do a collective consciousness reading. It's why I can tap into the collective consciousness of a tree, or the collective consciousness of a particular star being, or star group, or star ancestor. I said star a lot. Star. It's why I'm able to do that, because we are all connected by the Creator that created all of this, that created everything, that created everyone and every being that has existed and ever will exist. And so that's where I'm being called to stop. That's where I'm being called to stop. Right there. Harmony and balance. When things are in harmony and when things are in balance. It reminds me of the Libra scale. The Libra represents balance, y'all. Full moon and Libra. And we have the scales that are weighing two things, seeking to be in balance and harmony. And it doesn't actually mean equal, because what is balanced and harmonious for one can be out of balance and harmonious for another. But it means just so. Just so. Justice is just so in balance. And that's why I seek not only for myself, but for you, but for the entirety of the world. That we are able to move and to exist and be in a place of harmony and just so, in a place of peace. Which begins first with experiencing that and building that way of being within. And so, I'll end us there, closing off this space. Thank you for sharing this time and space with me, as always. Feeling very grateful, a bit chill. My mood is very chill today. I'm not gonna say subdued, but that seems like, I don't like that word. I want you to check in with how you're feeling. How are you feeling right now? What do you need? And I want you to give yourself that. If not now, keep it in mind to find a time and place where you can. Give yourself permission to give yourself what you need. Some of us, we didn't learn that. We had the permission to do that. And so give yourself that. Wherever you are, whenever you are, thank you for taking your time and space, for tuning in to the motcast. And as always, take care